Hi, everybody. I'm Anita from KetogenicWoman.com, and today we get to have a chat with Alice and Kevin. They are a carnivore / ketovore couple. I'm sure they'll talk more about that, who also have a YouTube channel. All of their contact links will be linked below and on the screen. So I had the opportunity to meet with them a couple of weeks ago for coffee, and we chatted for 2 hours, and it could have gone longer, but I had to leave to go to work. So I got to know them a little bit more during that time, and I know that you're going to get to know them as well today. So Alice and Kevin, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for agreeing to come today.
Hi, yeah, thank you for having us too. We really appreciate meeting with you in person. It's not very often that we get to see people that we admire on YouTube and meet them in person. So, thank you for having us today. We really appreciate it.
You'll have to go to KetoCon next year, because then you get to meet all kinds of YouTube people, as well as the people who love the YouTube people. You know, the wonderful audience.
We're definitely planning
excited for that.
Yeah, that would be amazing. So, what I know that my audience will be curious about is, how did you guys come to have this lifestyle of keto and carnivore? What were your health issues that brought you to this? How did you find it? And I want to know who went over first.
Sure. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I can go first. So I think like most people watching this today, I grew up on, a traditional standard American diet. It was very high carb, high seed oil. I also had a big sweet tooth growing up as a child. And so needless to say, I was overweight, and I did experience, a lot of bullying from friends and family growing up as a kid. By the time I got to my early adulthood, I was like, okay, enough is enough. And that's when I started my, journey. But back then there was very little information online. YouTube had just started taking off back then, and the focus, or all the information available back then, was focused on that traditional sort of like fitness bodybuilder type diet. That's high protein, low fat, caloric restriction. And I did try that for a very, very long time. Just trying to eat whatever you want as long as it fits the caloric intake. But it just never worked for me. I remember, and that's also when I started like my fitness journey. And I remember when I first started going to the gym, and I was so self-conscious and anxious because I didn't know what I was doing back then. I was just very worried about being judged with machines, whether I was doing things properly. And because I just tried everything at that time, eventually I did lose some of the weight, but it was never really a straight line of success for me. And even though I lost the weight, I still never really felt good. So I dealt with a lot of hormonal issues in my early 20s, poor skin, cystic acne. I was chronically tired, no matter how much I slept. And I also dealt with a lot of like dental and teeth issues just because of my sweet tooth. And when we were getting ready for our wedding, Kevin actually discovered keto, and he went on it first, and he's going to talk about that in a bit. But so that was kind of like the inspiration for me to join him, I guess. And I would say keto was probably the most life-changing diet that I've ever been on. It really resonated with me in that I could stick with it. I found it enjoyable. I found it sustainable, and it actually made me feel really good physically. And so that's the reason why I've kind of continued eating this way, even after having lost the weight, and being able to, stick with it and sustain it in the longer term.
Wow. Okay. So Kevin, you found keto first.
Yeah. So initially it wasn't really a weight thing for me, even though the weight change was dramatic. But so I grew up in pretty decent shape, I would guess. I would say I was always maybe a little bit chubby, but I was never overweight. I think just being younger and being pretty active when I was growing up probably helped keep that in check. But after finishing like school, university, starting like 9-to-5 corporate life, working a pretty high stress job, maybe going out a little too much on the weekends, I started gaining more and more weight basically every year. It kind of snuck up on me. And I think that's pretty common with a lot of people after they finish school. And I somehow gained like 60 pounds of weight during those working years, which I'm still working now, but And a lot of it was all body fat. And a lot of that happened kind of during 2020 as well, when we probably weren't focused on our health as well as much as we should have been. And I don't think I was eating probably that unhealthy, but I think just eating the standard American diet can make a lot of people unhealthy.
Yeah.
So yeah. Funny enough, when we're during 2020, we had to cook a lot more for ourselves, and maybe that kind of helped us realize that our eating patterns weren't as healthy as they should be.
Yeah, because
another reason
you guys go to a lot of restaurants, right? Like, or you used to.
Yeah, we used to. Not as much anymore, but we used to eat out all the time. So we would work probably like 16-hour days, 18-hour days. And we'd order, like a typical day would be like Starbucks breakfast sandwich in the morning, or breakfast sandwich from any fast food place, go out for lunch, take out for dinner, 3-4 coffees a day. So it wasn't a very healthy lifestyle for sure. Yeah, so it was getting progressively worse and worse every year, and probably I gained the most during 2020. And during that, when everything kind of happened, and we were stuck at home, we also got a new dog. And she was a really picky eater too. So we were trying to figure out what to eat, what to give her to eat. And when we were doing all that research, we would say that we found out that she was probably eating healthier than we were. So we were kind of surprised about that too. And then I've also struggled with an autoimmune condition my entire life. And it was also getting worse and worse over the years. And it was probably came to the worst it was ever been in 2020, where it was pretty out of control. So I switched to keto first because to deal with that. So I kind of started researching into what might help, like lower inflammation, sort of diets like that. And keto kept popping up. So I tried keto and I lost about 40 pounds on keto. Uh-huh. So I was pretty happy with that. But I still dealt with a lot of the same issues. Even though I did lose some weight, a lot of it was mostly water weight. And I was still dealing with like digestive issues I always had growing up, as well as the autoimmune condition. Okay. So then I switched to carnivore. So it came up just through my research as well. And surprisingly enough, I actually gained 15 pounds on it. So I've
heard that from other people too. So hopefully we'll hear more about that from you later.
Yeah, for sure. So it was quite discouraging at first because I thought I was on this like downward trend in weight and body composition. But when I figured out kind of how to dial in the food I was eating, the fasting plan, the exercise, that's when I was able to kind of get back on track. I was able to lose that 10 pounds or 15 pounds I gained, and I was able to lose another 10 pounds on top of that.
Wow.
So yeah, now I'm at a point where I'm kind of at maintenance. So I'm pretty happy with that. And I just basically looked into all the information that I could find on low carb, keto. There wasn't as much carnivore data as there now, but there was still a lot of stuff on low carb ketogenic diets, which are a lot of the similar benefits, right? So
yes.
So I'm now pretty happy about where I am now.
Oh, great. So you are carnivore, and Alice, you're would you describe yourself as ketovore?
Yeah, I would say so. I'm more of a long-term thinker. There's a quote that I discovered recently that I really like, and it's that if you can't do something forever, don't do it for a day. So I see this as more of a way of eating rather than, a diet. And for me, ketovore is just kind of where I land naturally. That keeps me, happy and balanced.
Yeah, I think a lot of people do land around ketovore, even if they are strict carnivore for a while. So it really depends on everyone's tolerance levels. I'm sure you guys have run into that as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Sometimes I'll do ketovore with him just out of convenience, or carnivore with him just out of convenience as well. It's an easier way of eating, I think, just less things to cook.
Well, and speaking of cooking, from what I have watched your videos, it seems like you guys both share in the cooking. You do a little bit, and Alice does a little bit, Kevin does a little bit. And so do you take turns? How does that work?
I would say we take turns. We also do it together. Mm-hmm. So cooking is always something that we've always had been passionate about. Before we started dating or even being together, we didn't really know how to cook at all. And it was just kind of a learning process that we kind of figured out over time. And it's just something we enjoy doing together and learning. I always liked like Food Network, watching food TV shows, the old Food Network, before they became all reality TV shows and food cooking competitions, more when it was like just the chef teaching you how to make something.
Yeah.
So that's something we just really like doing. And
it's like our hobby.
Yeah, one of our hobbies.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, for sure.
And we've just gotten better over time.
Yeah, I really enjoy your cooking videos, and I have to say that I watched a few of them, and I also did one of your recipes on one of my videos, which I really enjoyed. But I saw at least, I don't know, 6 of your cooking videos before I realized that you guys were also Canadians. And not only were you Canadian, but we were practically neighbors, like just one town or one bridge away, so to speak. So I thought that was kind of fun when I saw you pulling out that spice packet that I knew you could only get around here. So you guys both love cooking, obviously. And so do you, did you learn that when, at home with your family? Like how does your family, this is kind of where I'm going with this. How does your family respond to you guys eating such a high meat-based diet?
Yeah, that's an interesting one for sure. I think there's been some mixed responses. In terms of cooking for ourselves, we've always just liked to make stuff that's easy to make at home, simple dishes that we can make in a short amount of time. We do have some more elaborate recipes on our channel. And I think the carnivore diet can be as simple or as elaborate as you want it to be. We do like having those options there because just having like varieties in texture and taste can help people stick on a diet long term, which not everyone can just eat ground beef, butter, and eggs all the time.
Right.
Some people see amazing results with that. And I focus on doing that a lot of the time as well, but having that variety definitely helps. And in terms of our people in our lives, that's an interesting one. So
we're both Chinese.
Yeah.
That's kind of where the challenge comes in, is that a lot of our families, they cook. And, it's just the way we grew up as well on the cultural thing where Chinese diets are very, very high carb, also high seed oil. Yeah. So I think in the very beginning, there was some resistance, but slowly, this is just they've just come to accept that this is just what we eat, and they eat meat and other things as well. So we just we eat what we eat when we're eating with them, and it still works out. And I think the results do speak for themselves.
Yes. Have you had any converts in your family?
I would say that like some of our family members definitely lowered the carb intake for sure.
Nice.
They understand and they've switched the type of oils they're using, which is really good.
Yeah, that's really good.
That's probably the 2 biggest changes that I've seen in our families, which is I'm happy about, because obviously we don't want them cooking with canola oil and things like that all the time. If they can switch to like animal-based oils or even avocado oil, something like that is much healthier. That's probably been the biggest change. And I think in Chinese cooking or Asian cooking, meat is still quite a big part of it. So it's never kind of been, there's always a centerpiece of the meal usually. And there's always other side dishes like vegetables or rice or noodle or something. But there's always been focus on meat, especially with our family kind of being from Hong Kong. It's quite a big meat dominant part of the diet there.
Okay.
Meat's always been important. And, there's always other stuff that added in there that's probably not the healthiest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So speaking of changes then, you guys have another new addition to the family a few months ago. Do you want to say it or?
Yeah. I was pregnant last year. We had a baby in December.
Yes, congratulations.
So it's been a big life change for us this past 6 months or so, but he's 7 months now. So it's been, big life change, but also really fun and really rewarding. A lot of hard work.
Yeah.
Yes.
A lot of reshifting the schedule and new adjustments and new conversations. But we're still learning as we go along, and it has gotten easier. The first couple of months are tough, to say the least. But we did have a lot of help from family, which we're very grateful for. So they're always here, kind of like lending us a hand. They were preparing us meals in the very beginning. I think in the first month or two, there's literally no time to do anything really, except take care of a newborn baby, right?
Thankfully, like they've helped us like pick up groceries for us, and they kind of know how we eat already. And even when my mom cooks for us, she cooks carnivore for us now. If she ever comes over and helps, so she knows how we eat, and she's adopted a lot of those sort of eating techniques as well, or eating styles, I guess.
Oh, that's great.
So when she prepared food, it was always like a piece of meat or ribs or whatever it is that is, and it's been pretty helpful. And he's just starting to eat solid foods now. So
nice.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's more playing with food at this point. Yeah, because he's so young.
Trying to learn how to eat. Yeah.
Trying to pick up food, learning how to pick up food, throw it around, just experimenting with different textures and stuff.
Yeah.
Do you have any ideas as to how you will feed him when he is fully on solid food? Do you think he'll be kind of ketovore-ish, or will you do meat-based?
Well, we definitely want to focus on the meat for sure. I think kids are more resilient than when people grow up as adults. And we'll let him make his own choices, obviously, but we definitely want to educate him on the importance of proper nutrition and including meat in the diet for sure. Yeah. Avoid
some of those childhood, syndromes. You have to. There's so many of these things with kids these days that it's kind of hard to imagine that diet doesn't play a role.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I think our plan is to teach him whatever we can at home. And sometimes there's going to be factors outside of our control, obviously, when he goes to school and, goes to a friend's house and But yeah.
Oh, good. So you now have your YouTube channel. Mm-hmm. How did that come about? What inspired you to start that?
Yeah, I think YouTube is something that we always kind of talked about and, debated for many years. Oh, do we want to do one? Yeah, I think we could do one day. We just talked about it, and it was always on the back of the mind. I want to do YouTube one day. And when we were actually planning on actually doing it, we thought about all the possible topics that we could make videos on, and low carb was just something that we were passionate about, that we had something to say and, a story to tell, and something that we could commit to making content to. And so kind of just started one day on a weekend. We were like, hey, we're bored. Let's just do this. Let's do it. We've been talking about it forever. And it started, we just filmed with our iPhones, the first couple of videos. And I think like most YouTubers, it was very amateur. The quality was very amateur. Yeah. We cringe when we look back at some of those older videos, but it's been a fun journey. I think a lot of skills learned along the way, especially on the technical side. Kevin does a lot more of the filming. He's better at playing director, we call it, running the camera, editing. And I think for me, I get to do the easy thing, which is just more of the cooking on camera and talking. So that's kind of where we started initially, but then eventually I had to learn, some of the camera stuff as well. And Kevin had to speak a little bit more on cameras. So it's kind of balanced out in the longer term. And
Oh, that's great. It is a long journey, and there's so many things to learn. I mean, you'll just keep learning things.
No, we appreciate all the advice that you gave us as well. So
I'm still learning things too. I mean, there's so many things that I still don't have a clue about. But I'm glad it's going well for you guys. So you guys are also now coaching people who are getting started. So that's a big step too. And so how did you come to that path?
Yeah, so we both come from like client-facing backgrounds. So just in our regular work life, and we enjoy teaching, and working with clients is just something that we've always been doing for a long time now. And I think for you,
just thinking back, like back then when I was overweight and kind of DIYing figuring things out on my own with limited information online. I guess one of the sources I guess I just wanted to be the person that I wish I had in my life back then. That's like one of my sources of motivation for coaching, and just having to not have to go through that long battle of figuring things out on your own. And I think we both know now that weight loss is a bit of a psychological battle as well. You have to, handle your emotions, stay disciplined, willpower. But then there also is the technical aspect, which is like troubleshooting your own body. And we've just gone through so much trial and error ourselves in our own journey. And we thought, why not pass off our knowledge and help as many people as possible? That was always one of our goals with the YouTube channel. And I think it's just taken off from there.
Yeah. We just basically created a system that worked for us, and it's worked for a lot of our clients in terms of kind of breaking through those stalls. We work with both clients that are new carnivores or new to keto, or have maybe been on for maybe 3, 4, 5, 6 years and either hit a stall or gaining weight, kind of like I did. And it just really helps them kind of accelerate those changes to their fat loss or their body composition that they're looking for. So,
wow.
And just the helping people, for sure.
So that's great. So what does do you have kind of a typical client, or do you have sort of any feel for what type of people are suitable for your coaching program?
Yeah, so our clients range. I would say the majority of our clients are over 50 years old. So I would
that's a little surprising to me, actually.
Yeah. Maybe they came onto our channel just from watching our cooking videos or something like that. But I would say the majority of our clients are women in that age group. But we do have some clients in younger age group as well, some athletes. And then some are new carnivores, so have just started for the first time.
Okay.
But then a lot of them have actually been on it for 3+ years and have kind of hit a stall, or they're trying to achieve a fat loss goal, and they've just been stuck or they're gaining. So I would say that's the general outline of the clients that we've worked with so far.
Okay, and your coaching is very hands-on. Like maybe you can explain some of the things that you help them with, because I was kind of surprised when you told me a little bit about it.
Yeah, so our program is called Carnivore Cut. It's a 6-week 101 fat loss coaching program. It's a completely done for you, completely tailored for you program where we, again, work with clients to really understand their goals, their objectives, their past dietary history, eating habits. We really help our clients establish and understand things like, how much meat to eat, what meats to eat, the best macros for their bodies for weight loss. And again, it was built based on our own experience, but more importantly, based on clients' results and their transformations. And so what we've seen is that with this way of eating, and we know this from doing it ourselves, we've had to reestablish a lot of our own eating intuition and kind of relearn how to eat, relearn how to cook. And so a lot of people find that, as a part of that process, they don't, it's a bit of troubleshooting, right? Like figuring out how much meat to eat, what meat to eat. And so, we provide weekly meal plans that are completely customized to people's, food preferences, taste, and tolerance as well, in addition to the best cuts for weight loss. And we have weekly check-ins, which people find helpful for the accountability portion, because accountability is a big part of sticking with the diet. And just in the weekly sessions, we would just troubleshoot on, what's working, what's not working. Is the fat to protein ratio the best one for you? Should we, do you have any things like digestion issues and stuff that some people come across, and just some different strategies on how you can navigate those. We also help with fasting and exercise guidance if that's something that a client chooses to do.
So it's very personal to the individual who decides to take your 6-week course. Like you guys focus on one person kind of at a time, right? Yeah,
it's very individualistic. And we found that no two carnivore diets are the same for everyone. So depends where you are on your journey.
What you were doing before.
Yeah.
That's a big part of it too, what you were doing before.
That's one of the problems that I found I know a lot of people say eat intuitively, but
which I think we agree with.
Yeah.
We do agree with eating intuitively, but in the beginning, we've had to relearn that eating intuition, right? So,
Yes, because some of us come from decades of disordered eating, and our intuition does not lead us to the right place.
No, yeah, exactly. And the eating intuition is just one of those things that can be impacted by so many things, like how you were growing up to seafood, restriction, cultural differences.
Yeah.
And those are just ingrained from a long lifetime of habits, right? So relearning that and just kind of maximizing the results in as fast as possible time is kind of, I think people can eventually get that way, but you can do it a lot faster with proper like troubleshooting techniques.
Like a second set of eyes to look over what you're doing.
Yeah.
We are really big on, we call it like teaching people how to fish. So we try to really set them up with the tools to succeed so they understand how to succeed going forward as well. So it's not just 6 weeks, but it's 6 weeks and then what you can take away from it beyond. A lot of our clients, they have tried the group coaching setting, but a lot of them find that group coaching is a little bit more for accountability. And then sometimes the information provided is just the nature of it can be a little bit more generic because it's group coaching, right? It's learning in a group setting as opposed to having somebody really look at what it is you are doing and troubleshooting your problems with you.
Yes. And there's a place for both, certainly.
For sure.
Yeah. No, for sure.
It's good to know that the choices are out there, the options are out there. And so when's your next onboarding? Because I know it takes 6 weeks and you were full last time. So
so we're just finishing up our next group now. So in the final weeks. So we're just starting to onboard our next group right now.
Okay.
So we are opening.
We'll put that down below. So if people are interested, they can definitely contact you guys. Definitely.
Yeah. And there'll be all the testimonials there from all our clients and their past results. So people can look into kind of how we help them and if could possibly help them as well.
Do you see, like, as you're coaching people, do you see any common mistakes or common things that you could share, like maybe your top 2 or 3 common stall, things that make people stall or things that prevent people from reaching their best success? Yeah.
I would say one of the main ones, or one of them, is definitely not eating enough.
Okay. Yeah. That's hard for people to swallow that one, it really, especially the older people who have been taught the calorie deficit methods.
Yeah, I think it's a part of that the dieting mindset. The dieting mindset is what leads to restriction, and then it could possibly lead to binging, or not binging, but, just like restricting. And then it's like, oh, it's Saturday. Yeah. It's Saturday. Now I can eat whatever I want. But then that, then it just becomes this ongoing cycle forever. So making sure people eat enough, that they're picking the right cuts of meat.
Yeah. And then, it also slows the metabolism down as well. We've noticed, and a lot of our clients, when they do get to a point where they're eating enough, they'll see they're eating more than they used to, but they're also changing their body faster. So like they'll be losing inches off their waist, or they'll be losing pounds of body fat or whatever, by eating more. And that's pretty common.
Another mistake is some people think that just eating whatever fits the carnivore friendly umbrella, and anything that's like quote unquote like animal based or carnivore friendly will help with weight loss, and that's not always necessarily true. So there are,
I understand that because my big struggle is dairy, and it is perfectly carnivore.
Yeah,
but. And I think there's other things that fall into that gray area too for people.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
There's definitely some cuts that we've identified that work better for some people than others, from both a satiety and volume perspective as well, which helps people, I think.
Yeah.
Because dairy is one of those things where you can kind of eat and then be like, oh, I could still eat some more dairy, or, maybe a bag of pork rinds. I could eat more pork rinds. So, but it's a little bit different. But it's easy. Not all foods are like that, right? So, not all carnivore foods are like that.
No. Well, that's fantastic. And so, I mean, the thing that's good about that type of coaching is that sometimes you don't see those things, and it takes showing what you eat to others that, someone who's been down the road that can point out, some of the pitfalls. So I think that's fantastic, actually.
Yeah. So we look over everything our clients eat basically every day. So we have basically daily text messaging access to us.
Okay.
So, and we're tracking all their food. So we know exactly what they're putting in their bodies and what they're not putting in their bodies. So we
this
can
is major accountability then.
Yeah.
We have our clients do inventories of their freezers, send us photos of what's in your fridge and your freezer. And we kind of start off, that's kind of how we start off the program. Let's just see what's in your fridge and your freezer, and then we can kind of go from there.
Yeah. We don't want people to throw away their food.
No, we don't want
especially if they're already on a carnivore diet, but we can definitely work with what they have to develop macros that work better for them.
Yeah.
And then some of the alternative recipes out there that are maybe not serving them as well. We kind of try to change up their eating habits over time. So they sometimes include them. Obviously, it's okay to include, but there are faster ways of kind of burning through that body fat they may have, or whatever their fitness goal they're trying to achieve, for sure.
Okay. So if somebody comes to you and they're new, like brand new to carnivore, do you find that they typically are going from standard American diet to carnivore, or do you think have they already been keto usually?
Most of them have done keto before.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're on this journey of lowering their carbs. So what advice would you give to someone who's still doing standard American diet and is thinking about doing keto or ketovore, carnivore, wherever they're going to end up on the spectrum?
Yeah. If someone's switching from, I can tell you my experience on how I changed over. So when I switched from standard American or standard Chinese American Canadian diet,
whatever you want to call it,
to keto, I basically just cut my carbs in half every week.
Okay.
So for my research, I kind of wanted to minimize the impacts of the keto flu. So how I did it was, I would say I had a portion of rice or bread or noodles that I would normally eat. I would cut that in half or by a quarter, something like that, every week. And I would continually reduce it until it was basically down to zero. So that took about 6 to 8 weeks.
Wow.
And I noticed that had less impact on a lot of people have digestive issues and stuff, and keto flu. I think that reduced my impact because I didn't have it as much. I know Alice went cold turkey, so maybe she...
Yeah. We have slightly different personalities, but we balance each other out, I think. So I'm more of a cold turkey type of person. I just cut it all out immediately.
Yeah.
I felt not very good for a while. Yeah. And I know a lot of people, I was researching online, they say, keto flu takes 2 or 3 days to get over, which I was like, whoa, 2 or 3 days, because I think I felt that for quite a while, weeks, if not probably months before I actually started feeling really good.
Right.
That is and I remember in that initial stage, I was telling Kevin, I was like, I think I'm going to give up. I don't think I'll ever feel good. This feels terrible. But it's just retraining the body, I guess, of not eating those carbs. And
but I think if someone wants an easier transition, and maybe they're someone who has the ability to moderate, as opposed to, it depends if you're a moderator or an abstainer.
Yeah.
But if you are a moderator and kind of slowly cutting down the carbs over time, may help the overall digestion, just so your stomach gets used to it easier.
Yeah.
And you have less stomach issues, I think.
I think it's good for people to know that option even exists, because I think a lot of times they'll join a group or something, and the only option seems like they got to go cold turkey today. And, like Alice, you found out that can be difficult. That can
difficult, yeah.
stop a lot of people in their tracks.
Yeah.
You know, they give up before they start feeling the good stuff happening or seeing the good results. So, yeah. So it's really interesting that within the family, you guys did it total opposite way.
Yeah. Yeah. I started about maybe 2-3 months before Alice started.
Okay.
And
it's funny. I was like, you're crazy. I was like, this is, back when I was still eating carbs. I was like, what are you doing? Right.
Yeah.
But then he started seeing really good results and he was really persistent with it. I was like, okay, I could do this too. And so I tried as well.
Well, good for you.
And then it was kind of the same thing when he told me about carnivore. He was the one who discovered it first too. And I was like, no way. I was like, no, we're not doing that. And then he just persisted with it. And then I was like, okay, I'll try it too. Cause I always end up trying whatever he does. Cause
right.
we do everything together.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's amazing. I didn't actually know this part of your story, so I'm kind of thrilled with it actually.
Yeah.
You guys did that. So what, like today, say, what are your favorite meals? Like what does it look like for you guys to cook and eat together today?
Sure. Well, for today, I'll go over what I'm eating today. I haven't ate yet today. For myself, so it's about 11:30. I'll probably eat after this. Mm-hmm. I have a New York strip in the fridge right now, ready to eat.
Nice.
And tonight I'm actually going to a concert, so we're going to go to a restaurant. So Alice isn't going. I'm going with my friends, but I'll probably just get a steak or burger patties or something at the restaurant. But in terms of general foods, for me, I stick basically pretty strict carnivore, 95% of the time. I'll go periods of like months where I'll go strict carnivore, meat, salt, and water, especially if I'm trying to achieve a like body composition type of goal.
Okay.
Whether it's gaining muscle or leaning out. Like for the month of April, we both went strict carnivore. So no, we didn't even use dairy. I don't think, barely any dairy.
Cut that out as well.
Yeah. And I leaned out quite a bit. Pretty happy about that. Down to like probably 10 to 12% body fat based on my measurements. And it was a little bit too lean for me. Now I'm trying to gain back a little bit of muscle. But typical day of eating is meat, fish, eggs, a little bit of chicken and pork. So I personally don't do lion diet because I haven't found the need for it.
Okay.
And I like having the different types of meats for variety purposes, as well as I've been told there's more nutrients just by mixing it up a little bit, because different meats have different quantities of vitamins and minerals. So I like to mix it up.
Yeah, for me, it's a lot of what he eats: meat, fish, eggs. Again, I lean a little bit more ketovore, so I will allow myself some condiments, seasonings, even some like aromatics that I use for cooking and stuff. But yeah, this is kind of what I've just been able to sustain in the long term. And I try to focus mostly on beef as well, beef and fish for meat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do best on beef as well. You guys both mentioned fish. Do you have an opinion on sardines, I have to ask?
Yeah.
We love sardines.
Yeah.
We've been doing a lot of sardines lately. Yeah.
Yeah.
It took a while for us it was a bit of an acquired taste, if you will, in the beginning. We had to start off with, I guess, the more expensive brand that tasted a little bit better, that we got from Whole Foods. And then eventually I had to first start off by, putting a little bit of avocado mayo and capers just to help enhance the flavor. But then eventually, I don't know if it's just out of convenience, I just started eating them out of the package straight. So we get the ones in spring water, and we recently discovered that they are cheaper on Amazon. So we just buy like a bulk case now.
Yeah.
Kind of just like our coffee beans.
Yeah. We're basically eating them every day, at least a can a day. So
yeah, I try to get a can in every other day. I just feel like it's enhanced my eating plan. I feel so much better eating them. I mean, didn't mean to go down the sardine path here, but I'm just always curious as to what kind of seafood people are eating, because I really love sardines and what they can do for you. So.
Yeah. We also eat salmon as well, just because salmon is abundant where we live. There's a lot of salmon. Live in the salmon city of the world. But a lot of it is a lot of it is kind of what is also on sale at Costco as well. So we buy in bulk. So whatever's kind of convenient and accessible to us. I know a lot of people ask the question like, oh, does it have to be organic? Does it have to be pasture raised, grass fed, all those things? And I guess our kind of opinion on this, try not to stress too much about that kind of stuff in the beginning and just kind of focus on getting the foods right and not always about being perfect.
Yes. Yes. So you guys don't stress too much about the grass fed versus conventional.
No, it's not. I don't know for you if you found it here. It's not that easy to find where we live. I don't know.
It isn't.
And it's like very expensive too.
Yeah.
Like 3 or 4 times the price. So
Yeah.
Maybe in the US there's more options, but
there are,
yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. You can't even find a good, like they want to cut the fat off of everything too. So you have to really, search for those fattier cuts too. So it's a little frustrating.
A lot of our clients are US based and they'll send us photos of things that they get access to. And we are always very jealous. They have access to I guess Butcher Box is a big one, but then there's also another one, I think Wild Fork.
Yeah.
Is that the one? Yeah, Wild Fork, which is
more game
California based. Yeah, but they have a lot of unique stuff like ground yak, elk, and just some of the more exotic things. Yeah, you can just get it in like a little packaged form. Just like how you would get ground beef up here. But the things like that, they have like Teton sausages at Costco and just a lot more stuff that we don't
more variety
have access to. Yeah.
Oh, I was going to ask you if you've tried a sardine fast yet.
Oh, yes. Yes, I've done it a few times. It's not easy to do, but I think it's worthwhile. It just sort of got me into the habit of including them more often. And I don't think people have to eat sardines for 3 days. I think even just including them in your diet more often is beneficial, as you guys are obviously doing as well. What are your goals going forward, both for yourselves and for your channel?
Yeah. So for myself, I'm kind of on a goal where I want to get back to kind of building more muscle mass. I'm kind of happy with where our weight loss journey or where my weight loss journey has gone. So I'm kind of at a maintenance level. So right now it's more about putting on more muscle mass and doing more sort of resistance exercise. And that's, I don't think you need exercise, necessarily a ton of it to lose weight on a ketogenic or carnivore diet, because a lot of it happens naturally just by selecting the right sort of foods, but it can definitely accelerate your results. Specifically just because having muscle mass helps you burn fat a lot faster.
Yes.
And just helps people have that athletic kind of toned aesthetic look and helps their clothes fit better. And you feel better too. You feel good. Mm-hmm. So for me, it's just kind of putting on a little bit more muscle mass right now and getting more fit, and then getting back into the gym, because with the baby, it's been pretty hard to find baby care to go to a gym for an hour. So most of the stuff we've been doing has just been home workouts, 2 to 3 times a week, body weight sort of stuff. Anything you can do at home, and you can get a ton done at home, and that's kind of what we encourage our clients to do. You can get really fit just working out at home with minimal equipment, and so
walking is also big.
Yeah, walking is really important, and then. So we kind of work with our clients that way to figure out ways where they are in their journey to use those activities that have maximum leverage where they are. So maximum reward for minimum effort at their point of their journey. So, and that's a lot of the stuff I kind of researched into in terms of exercise techniques and things like that as well. So we use a lot of that in ourselves. And in terms of our channel, we also did launch a food recipe blog as well. So we post all our recipes on there. So the same ones we post on our YouTube channel. So they can get the detailed instructions. It's called justrealfood.com.
Yes, I've been seeing that coming up on your videos and your shorts. So that's great.
Yeah.
It's good to have that.
Yeah. So you're a big inspiration for that.
Oh, thank you.
A lot of our clients and viewers are fans of yours as well. I think there's a lot in common between our channels. So they really like you too. They all know you. They'll like you. So it's,
And what about you, Alice? What kind of goals do you have going forward?
Yeah, I would say I'm also pretty happy with where I'm at, like body composition wise.
Yeah, you look fantastic. When I met you guys, like both of you look like you've never had an extra pound on you in your life. Like really.
Yeah, I think consistency over time is a big thing that we both had to learn as well. So for me, my goals, I think I did lose quite a bit of muscle when I was pregnant because that just happens naturally. So right now, I was earlier in the year, just more focused on like weight loss, but now it's building muscle as well, just being stronger in general. And yeah, just I see exercise more of like a hobby now. It's just something that I like to do. I think from a weight loss perspective, from my experience, experience talking with other people, it's like mostly related to food, like 95% related to like nutrition and diet and stuff. And obviously if you incorporate some of it in, there's like mental benefits and, physical benefits, you could feel better, but it's not really required. I guess what I'm saying is you can't out exercise the diet if the diet is poor, right?
For sure.
Yeah,
diet always comes first.
I think there's a lot of wisdom definitely in that statement, because I know for myself, I lost quite a bit of weight and then started exercising, because sometimes you just need to start feeling good about yourself to get yourself even into a gym or even feeling like doing something, so they don't necessarily the exercise doesn't necessarily have to be the first thing. But I like what you guys are saying about the other benefits of it too, because I'm feeling those now. So it's a good thing.
I think a misconception that people have also is that they think it has to be like a big event. They have to do big, crazy workouts, go to the gym, work out like 3 to 4 hours, do like a 6-hour hike. I know we're from a lot of people really like hiking. Nothing wrong with that, but it doesn't need to be big, dramatic events. Yeah. Right? It's just that small amount every day, being consistent over time and actually like being able to stick with it. I think, like even going for like a 15-20 minute walk every single day, walking your dog around the block or whatever it is more beneficial than going to the gym once a week and then taking 6 days off. So I think consistency over time is key.
That makes a lot of sense.
And I lost that 60 pounds not going to the gym once. So it was all done at home in 30 minute exercises a few times a week. So it's not like it has to be, obviously if you're trying to go to a bodybuilding competition and have, it might be
build
a little bit
muscle
different.
And look a certain way, have certain,
But if you're just trying to be fit, athletic, fit in your clothes better or something like that, then I think a lot of that can be done at home. And one of the tips that we give our clients is a lot of them, or a few of them, have issues with walking because they maybe are at a point in their journey where they can't walk that much yet. So having like what I've helped is actually having a little stationary exercise bike underneath your desk. Especially if you work a sedentary job.
Right. Okay.
It's just a small one you can get on Amazon. They're like $50.
I think I've seen them. So they're like a little thing and you put your feet in and cycle while you're working.
So it's kind of like, it kind of mimics that walking, puts you in that fat burning zone for heart rate. So you can just do it throughout the day, do it to a point where you can still maintain a full conversation. And having that ability to do that throughout the day, throughout your work day, and you don't have to overexert yourself where you're stressing yourself out, but just at a comfortable level where it's like you're mimicking going for like walks throughout the day.
Right.
And that's been huge in terms of just general like fat loss and helping people kind of get to a point where they are able to incorporate more walking into their schedule.
Well, I saw
and Amazon Prime days.
Yes, Amazon Prime is coming. That would be a good time to.
It's coming. It's in a couple of days, so if people are interested.
Yeah, for sure. I saw a video that Dr. Barry had put out one time about doing calf raises under your desk, and if you do like sets of 10 or 20 a few times a day, you don't even have to get up from your desk. You just do them, and apparently that's supposed to be beneficial like that as well. So there's lots of little things we can do. Yeah.
So especially if you can incorporate things like that are there's a lot of resistance to like it's hard to wake up early in the morning to do a workout, or it can be hard to get out of the house sometimes. So having activities that require minimum resistance for you to do, if that thing's always under your desk, people just find themselves doing it.
Wow, that's actually a great suggestion.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
and walking is one of the best fat loss exercises. So
yes.
It's kind of mimics that sort of effect on your body.
Well, and then when you're walking too, you're getting out in the sunshine and the fresh air. Sure. That has all kinds of benefits as well.
Definitely.
So any goals for your YouTube channel going forward?
Just to create more content, more recipes.
Hopefully more interviews or collaborations.
Yeah.
In the future.
We just did an interview with Dr. Chafee.
Yeah.
So that was our first. That was our first interview. Most of our content's mostly being on like tips and tricks, as well as a lot of recipes as well.
Yeah.
So that was our first like long form interview. And we hope to do some more of those as well in the future with some other experts in the space, as well as just other people that are on the diet and just want to hear their stories.
Yeah, me too. This is something new that I'm trying as well. You guys are my second interviewees, so thank you.
We're honored.
I'm glad that you guys said yes when I asked you. So was there any other last minute advice or anything you want to say?
Yeah, I just say if anyone's like struggling on the diet, just stick with it. The benefits will come. And I think it's a great way to eat, great way to live, staying low carb. And
for people that are curious to try it, because I'm sure there are people that are like keto curious or carnivore curious, I think the results kind of speak for themselves, and all the people who have spoken up about their experiences. And we try to make it fun too on our YouTube channel, with the What I Eat in a Day shorts. And one of our goals is to inspire more young people to get onto this way of eating as well. Because I know, just generally speaking, when it comes to health, sometimes people don't, and this is just based on experience with their own families and stuff, sometimes people don't hit that realization until they have that aha moment. But our goal, and we were pretty fortunate in that we had got that earlier in life, I would say. So we're very grateful to have been able to discover this way of eating and, be able to do what we do and passing off the message to other people. But I would say it's a way of eating, and it's a way of living, and it's definitely more enjoyable than any other diet I've tried in the past. And I think, neither of our bodies really respond very well to carbohydrates.
Okay.
I know it works for some people, and that's great for them, but for us, it's never really been that way. And so,
I like your goal. I like your goal of reaching the young people, because why wait for the health crisis to hit? A lot of us are, waiting for that, that diabetes diagnosis or cancer or, whatever it is. It's so awesome that you guys are reaching, or trying to reach younger people too. So wonderful to hear that.
Yeah. It's never too late to change anyways.
No.
So no matter how old you are or how where you are in your journey, you could always make that change, and you'll see amazing benefits. And that's why we like to support people on our channel with our clients as much as possible.
It's a great little community here that we have too on YouTube, with a lot of really strong engagement. People are really passionate and about this way of eating, and so I kind of love what we have, our group.
Wonderful. Yeah, I find the same thing. Mostly almost 100% positive people.
Yeah.
So that's great. So Alice and Kevin, or Kevin and Alice, both of you, thank you so much for having this chat with us and allowing the people that follow me to get to know you guys a little bit better. And I just want to thank you so much for taking the time to come and talk to me today about, just about your lives and what you have to offer. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us. We really appreciate it as well.
Okay.
You've been a huge inspiration to us.
Oh.
So it was great meeting you as well. So thank you so much for having us on the channel.
Thank you, Anita.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll do this again, and I'll be talking to you about your coaching when I get settled in my new place.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
Okay. All right. Goodbye, everybody. We'll see you guys on the next
Bye now.
video. Okay.
Bye-bye.
So this will be edited out.